I've got to be honest. When I saw we were doing a deep dive on fasting, I sort of braced myself.
Yeah.
Usually the literature on this is, well, it's pretty grim. It's all about willpower and grit and, just making yourself miserable.
It's almost always framed as a battle,
Yeah,
right? You against your own hunger.
exactly. But looking through this stack of sources, the articles, some of the physiological breakdowns, the angle is, it's totally different.
Yeah.
It's not treating fasting as a punishment. It's more like a data project.
That is the key shift.
Yeah.
The core argument here isn't really about deprivation, it's about signal processing.
Signal processing.
Yeah. One of the sources explicitly calls it a tool for reducing metabolic noise so the signal can be detected.
Which sounds great philosophically, but let's ground that. When the text talks about negotiating with excess, what is it actually describing biologically?
Well, it's really about energy allocation. I mean, digestion is metabolically expensive, so constant intake means your body is perpetually processing, breaking down, sorting, storing. That's the noise.
So it's just always busy.
Exactly. The source argues that when you stop that input, you aren't just creating a calorie deficit, you're actually freeing up bandwidth.
So the clarity people talk about isn't some, like, spiritual thing.
Yeah.
It's resource reallocation.
Precisely. The text describes a kind of sensory reset. When the noise of digestion and, the constant dopamine hits from food drops away, your whole baseline perception shifts.
How so?
Well, taste sharpens, impulse control, and this is the interesting part, it actually strengthens eventually. And your thought processes, they tend to slow down.
That part about impulse is so counterintuitive. You'd think hunger makes you more impulsive.
You would, but the source argues that real hunger acts as a clarifier.
A clarifier.
Yeah, it forces you to distinguish between, I actually need this and I'm just used to having this. It exposes the habit loops. You stop running on autopilot.
Okay, and this feels like but the research makes it clear this only works if you're actually fasting and not just crashing your system.
Yes. This was that whole section on the rules of engagement, and I think this is where most people get it wrong. They confuse discipline with damage.
100%. The source draws this really hard line between optional inputs and regulatory systems.
A crucial distinction.
Food is an optional input, for a short period. Water and sleep are regulatory systems.
They're non-negotiable, not optional.
So that, like, warrior mentality of I'll sleep when I'm dead and dry fast for 3 days is...
It's completely counterproductive. The text is so adamant about this. Fasting is a stressor. If you combine that with sleep deprivation or dehydration, you aren't purifying anything.
We're just redlining the engine.
Exactly. You're creating more noise.
Which leads to that concept of coherence versus endurance. I found this distinction really helpful. Endurance is just surviving the pain.
It's just white-knuckling it. Coherence, in this context, is about functionality.
Functionality.
Yeah, the metric for success isn't how much did I suffer, it's did my system get clearer? The source even lists specific warning signs. Dizziness, confusion, instability.
Right, it calls those interference.
Exactly. If you're feeling those, your body isn't detoxing, it's malfunctioning. There's a great line in there. The body does not reward force, it responds to intelligence.
If you're pushing through dizziness, you've totally missed the point.
You've missed the entire point. You're supposed to come out of this with functional strength, not just, exhaustion.
So it's really a tool for recalibration, not just some test of toughness.
And if that clarity disappears, the practice has failed. That's the bottom line.
That completely changes how you approach even just skipping a meal. It's not about starving, it's about checking the dashboard.
A perfect analogy.
So to wrap this up, the source suggests that a lot of the food we eat is just a distraction. It's noise we use to drown other things out. If you accept that premise, that consumption creates noise, it really begs a bigger question.
If you apply this logic beyond just the fridge.
Right. What other forms of noise are you consuming in your life right now?
And if you turn them off, maybe even just for a day, what signal might you finally be able to hear?
Thanks for diving in with us.